Hi everyone, welcome to EduTab and welcome to lecture number 11 of ARD for NABARD Grade A 2025 exam. So students, first of all, I hope your preparation is going well. आप अच्छे से अभी preparation कर रहे हो इस examination की, right? So today we are going to cover another important topic which is plantation and horticulture crop. ठीक है, बहुत ही important topic है, आपके exam में काफी सारे question यहाँ से पूछे जाते हैं. तो आज कुछ important questions discuss करेंगे based on this particular topic. Clear? But before I start this video, I wanted to tell you about our initiative. So basically we have launched one guidebook for you. Right now I know previous year questions are very important for you. So if you want PYQs, a set of PYQs for yourself to solve, you can get that from this guidebook. Also you will get the decoded syllabus for all the subjects with strategy, right? So students, this is a very useful tool for you right now. If you want this, you have to just go to the description box. There is a link provided and you can download this guidebook for yourself. With that, I'll start the video and let's see question number 1 for the day. So students, pehla question hai, the term horticulture is derived from which Latin word? Okay, so first of all, what is this horticulture? Okay, what is this horticulture? Horticulture is basically a branch of agriculture. Okay, it is a branch of agriculture. अब agriculture क्या है? Agriculture, we know agriculture is a art, science, business of growing crop and livestock, right? So when we talk about crops, so there are different types of crops. Few are field crops, few are horticulture crops, then forest crops and whatnot, right? So horticulture crops, वो ब्रांच एग्रीकल्चर की जहां पे वी आर डीलिंग विद हॉर्टिकल्चर क्रॉप स्पेसिफिकली, दैट इज नोन एज हॉर्टिकल्चर. दैट ब्रांच इज नोन एज हॉर्टिकल्चर. अब क्या क्रॉप्स आती हैं हॉर्टिकल्चर में? व्हाट ऑल क्रॉप्स कम अंडर हॉर्टिकल्चर ब्रांच? सो क्रॉप्स लाइक फ्रूट्स, वेजिटेबल, फ्लावर्स, ornamental plants, right? Then spices, condiments, all these including your plantation crops, these are the crops that are dealt under branch of agriculture which is horticulture. Now students, if we see why these crops are kept under separate branch, these crops are perishable in nature or these crop required processing unit. ठीक है, अब आपकी फ्रूट्स, वेजिटेबल, फ्लावर्स जैसे हो गए, दे आर वेरी पेरिशेबल, वी कैन नॉट स्टोर देम फॉर लॉन्गर ड्यूरेशन ऑफ टाइम, शेल्फ लाइफ इज वेरी लेस, राइट? तो हमें क्या करना होता है? वी नीड टू स्टोर देम, वी नीड टू प्रोसेस देम इन सच अ way that their shelf life can be increased. Clear? So therefore a different branch of agriculture science has been made which is horticulture. Now students, this term horticulture, it has been derived from a Latin word. ठीक है, एक Latin word से derive की गई है और अभी तक आपने अगर आंसर दे दिया है, well and good. Otherwise answer for this question will be option B. Hortus means garden, cultura means cultivation, right? So जो horticulture term है, that is derived from a Latin word hortus which means garden, cultura means cultivation which means garden cultivation. Clear? And again, horticulture is that branch of agriculture science which is dealing with the horticulture crops like your fruits, flower, vegetables, spices, condiments along with the plantation crops. Clear? I hope now कि horticulture की definition कहाँ क्या है और ये कहाँ से originate हुआ है ये term, that is clear. चलो, let's move on to the next question. Now, next question is which of the following is considered plantation crops? ठीक है. Now first we need to understand here what is the meaning of plantation crop. Plantation crop का मतलब क्या होता है? So students, plantation crops मैं example देती हूँ. I'll give you few examples like tea, like rubber. Okay. Now when these plantation crops are grown, they are grown on very large state. Okay, we need a large amount of area for growing these plantation crop. Now you might have seen tea gardens. बहुत छोटी सा एरिया में नहीं होता है. We need a large space to grow tea gardens, right? So and these crops, these tea, rubber, we do not harvest them and bring them home. हम क्या करते हैं? they take them to the processing unit, right? एक processing unit होती है जहां पे उनको process किया जाता है and they are processed they are converted into useful product, right? So जो जितनी भी crops है जो बहुत ही large state में grow की जाती हैं, they are grown on a very large state and they are taken for the processing to be converted into useful product. Such crops are called plantation crops, right? Now if I see options here, so first we have is potato. So students, potato is a field crop, we can directly consume it, right? Then we have tomato. Tomato again is a vegetable crop. स्पिनच इज वेजिटेबल, कैबेज इज वेजिटेबल, तो राइट आंसर हियर विल बी ऑप्शन बी कॉफी. ठीक है, कॉफी आप डायरेक्ट कंज्यूम नहीं करते हो, कॉफी शुड बी प्रोसेस्ड फर्स्ट एंड देन यू कंज्यूम इट, राइट. सो राइट आंसर विल बी ऑप्शन बी हियर. क्लियर? चलो, so coffee is the plantation crops here. ठीक है, I have told you and it's a perennial grown on large scale. One more thing students, जो plantation crops होती है they are perennial. Once you have established a plantation crop field or a place where you are growing these plantation crops, you don't need to resow it. हमारी एनुअल क्रॉप्स या फील्ड क्रॉप्स में यूजुअली क्या होता है, वी नीड टू रीसो इट आफ्टर सर्टेन पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, वी नीड टू हार्वेस्ट इट एंड देन रीसो इट, राइट. बट इन प्लांटेशन क्रॉप्स, once you have established that plantation area, once you have established that whole area, you don't have to resow it, you just need to harvest. Okay, whenever the harvest is ready, आपको सिर्फ हार्वेस्ट करना है, मल्टीपल हार्वेस्ट यू कैन टेक, बट यू डोंट हैव टू रीसो इट. सो दे आर पेरिनियल, मीन्स दे लिव फॉर मोर देन 3 years, राइट. Requires specific climate, rainfall and processing. Clear? Chalo. Next question is, which of the following spices is derived from a bark? Now students see, I would suggest for this particular video, I have framed few questions जो थोड़ा सा अलग है. ठीक है, आप और जो videos हैं plantation and horticulture crops की from the past ARD static series, वहां से और topics cover कर सकते हो. ठीक है, I don't want to repeat the content, so इस बार मैंने questions काफी different रखे हैं. ठीक है, now it is again very much important that you should know that whatever we are consuming, from which part of plant that is derived from. क्लियर? सो अब यहाँ पे पूछा गया है विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्पाइसेस डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम बार्क. बार्क से कौन सा स्पाइस डिराइव किया जाता है? इज इट कार्डमम, सिनेमन, क्लोव, ऑलस्पाइस और टर्मरिक? सो स्टूडेंट्स, राइट आंसर फॉर दिस विल बी ऑप्शन बी सिनेमन. ठीक है, सिनेमन जो है वो बार्क से ऑब्टेन किया जाता है. सो स्टूडेंट्स, यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द कार्डमम इज डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम ड्राइड फ्रूट. जो कार्डमम होता है वो ड्राइड फ्रूट है उस पार्ट का, प्लांट का. ठीक है, सिनेमन is inner bark of that plant. ठीक है, then clove is dried flower bud. जो clove है, जो long होती है, that is your dried flower bud. ठीक है, then allspice is dried berry and turmeric is dried rhizome. Clear? So these spices are derived from these part of the plant. Clear? तो ये जो हम देखते हैं वो ये part है plants के. Clear? चलो, moving to the next question, mango can be grown under which climatic condition? ठीक है, now students, very important, you should know different climatic condition and crops that can be grown in these climatic condition. ठीक है, now if I talk about mango specifically, then mango is a crop that can be grown both in tropical and subtropical climate. ठीक है, तो answer here will be option C, both ट्रॉपिकल एंड सब ट्रॉपिकल. समटाइम्स वी टेंड टू कंफ्यूज. ठीक है, कभी कभी हम कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं कि ये ट्रॉपिकल प्लांट है, बट नहीं स्टूडेंट्स, आपने देखा होगा सब ट्रॉपिकल रीजन्स में भी वी कैन ग्रो मैंगो. क्लियर? तो आंसर विल बी ऑप्शन सी हियर. एंड इफ आई टॉक अबाउट ऑल द ऑप्शन, सी फर्स्ट ऑप्शन इज ट्रॉपिकल. इट इज पार्शियली ट्रू बिकॉज tropical area में yes it is grown like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, but it is also grown in subtropical area. ठीक है, like your उत्तर प्रदेश, पंजाब. ठीक है, यहाँ पे भी मैंगो ग्रो होता है. Then the third option was tropical, subtropical, which is correct because mango can adapt both kind of climatic condition, be it your tropical or subtropical, and best temperature is around 24 to 30 degrees Celsius. Clear? Then if I talk about only temperate, which is option D. So students, that is incorrect because the mango cannot survive cold climate condition. ठीक है? And if I talk about coastal humid area, so that will also be correct because if humidity is high, there are chances of fungal infection in mango tree. ठीक है? तो that is also incorrect. So answer will be option C. Now you learn from here that mango is a crop which can be grown in tropical and subtropical region. ठीक है? Okay. With that, let's move to the next question. Your next question is apple, peach, plum are example of which climate fruit zone? Like which climate fruit zone or which climatic zone? Clear? So your options are tropical, subtropical, temperate, coastal and desert. Now students, very important to learn. अब आपने देखा होगा एप्पल जो है वो कहाँ पे ग्रो होता है. यूजुअली एप्पल इज grown in Jammu Kashmir, it is in Himachal, it is in Uttarakhand. So these are all hilly areas, and we know the climatic condition here are cool, right? So from here also, likewise also you can learn things. ठीक है, आप observe करके भी चीजों को याद कर सकते हो. You can see कि वो crop particularly कहाँ grow की जाती है, and accordingly what is the climatic condition of that particular place, and you can learn these things. ठीक है, so from here we can come to the conclusion that apple is a temperate crop. Temperate climate क्या है, जो ठंडी जगह है, right, where the temperature is less, there is a cool climatic condition, right? So answer will be temperate. So students, if I talk about examples of tropical fruits, so tropical का examples होंगे आपके banana, papaya, mango. Okay, they can't tolerate frost. All the tropical crops will not be able to tolerate frost condition, right? Then we have subtropical crops. Subtropical crops are your citrus, lychee and guava. Clear? So citrus, lychee, guava, they are usually grown in subtropical regions. Then we have temperate. Temperate is basically where the climatic condition is very cold, right? Where the temperature is very less. So fruits like apple, pear, peach, plum, they require cold climatic condition, and they can be well grown in temperate regions. Then we have coastal tropical regions. Example is coconut and cashew. Then we have desert region. In desert region also few crops like bear and date palm can be grown, which like arid and semi-arid condition. Clear? So these are the examples of different regions and the crops that can be grown there. Clear? So you can learn these. If a question is asked in your examination, you can answer them, right? Okay. Chalo, next question is fruits that continue to ripen after harvesting are called. Okay. Now students, you might have seen that there are few fruits or few crops that ripens after harvesting. Okay. That continue to ripen after harvesting, and there are few fruit crops when we harvest them, they stop ripening. Okay, they remain at the condition at which we have harvested it. So what will be the answer for this particular question? So students, here answer will be option C, climatic. So the fruit that continue to ripen after harvesting, such fruits are called climatic fruit. Okay, and the fruits which stops ripening after harvest, such fruits are called non-climatic fruits. Okay, so you have to understand classification of fruits is there. This is the classification, okay, based on ripening after harvest. If ripening stops, okay, if ripening stops, then that is non-climatic. If ripening continues, then that is climatic. Clear? So students, these are this is a classification, and you have to learn these terminologies used. Clear? Chal. Moving to the next question. Okay, so coming to explanation. So non-climatic means cannot ripen after harvest, like your grape and citrus. You might have seen, once you harvest unripe citrus, it will not ripen after that, right? It will remain at that particular condition. It will get spoiled after some time, but it will not ripen. Okay, then we have dormant. What is the meaning of dormant fruit? Basically students, dormant fruit is nothing. Basically dormant seed is there, right? Dormant seed is what? A condition or a time period in which the seed is not viable. The seed is unable to germinate, right? Not able to germinate basically. So that is a dormant stage. Okay, climatic I have told you. If the fruit continue to ripen after harvesting, that are called climatic fruits, like your mango, papaya, tomato. Okay, then we have apomictic. Okay, so one term is used, apomictic. What is apomictic? Basically the fruits that are produced without fertilization. Okay, so there are few fruits which are produced without fertilization, like citrus, mango. They are called apomictic fruits. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Moving to the next question. Vegetables are classified based on edible parts, and potato is a. Okay, now students, we know for vegetable we consume different part of a plant, right? In some vegetable we consume leaf part of a plant, in some we consume stem part, in some we consume root part. Okay, so based on which part is consumed, okay, the vegetables, entire vegetable is classified into different categories. Now here if we see, potato is a basically स्टेम वेजिटेबल. यू कैन नॉट से पोटैटो एज अ रूट वेजिटेबल. ठीक है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एग्जाम्पल है, बिकॉज पोटैटो विच इज grown underground, which develop underground, that is not a root, that is a modified stem. Okay, that's why it is a stem vegetable, not root vegetable. ठीक है, root vegetable का example होगा radish. ठीक है, not potato. Then leaf vegetable like your spinach. Okay, spinach, lettuce, these are leaf vegetable. And fruit vegetable में like your tomato or ladyfinger, these are fruit vegetable. Then flower vegetables, there are some vegetables where we consume flowers also, right? So these are different categories in which vegetables are divided based on which part of plant we are consuming, right? So here answer will be for potato, stem vegetable, because potato is a modified form of stem, not root. Clear? Okay. Moving to the next, okay, before that, let's see explanation. So root vegetable include carrot, radish, beetroot, okay, where true roots are used for the storage. Okay? Potato is not a root, it is a modified stem, hence it is the part of stem vegetable classification. So potato is a stem tuber that bears eyes. So one more important thing, students, see, ये potato का diagram है for say, you might have seen such structures on potato. Okay, so what are these? Basically, these are called eyes, or basically they are buds, axillary buds. ठीक है, ये क्या है? Axillary buds होती हैं. Now, what are these eyes or axillary bud? यहाँ से अगर if we cut this part or if we allow this axillary bud to germinate, it is able or it has the capacity to come out as a new potato plant. Clear? So this is one of the way of propagation in potato, where we cut potato, okay, having at least one eye or one axillary bud, and we sow the potato, and that axillary, from that axillary bud or eye, new potato plant germinate. Clear? So these buds can sprout new plants. Clear? Chalo, leaf vegetable mein we have spinach, lettuce, cabbage. These are again leaf part. In fruit we have tomato, brinjal, chili, which are fruit of that particular plant which we are consuming. And in flower like cauliflower, broccoli. Okay, cauliflower, broccoli, these are examples of fruit, flower vegetable. Clear? Okay. Now I hope this is clear to you. Let's move to the next question. Which planting system accommodates 15% more plant per hectare? Now let me first explain to you what is planting system. Planting system kya hai? So students, see, when we sow or when we plant tree, ठीक है? So what we do, we adopt a particular type of geometry. ठीक है? Either we go for square geometry, where the row to row and plant to plant, row to row and plant to plant distance okay, where row to row and plant to plant distance is equal. Okay, this is called square geometry. Geometry is basically the plantation order that we are following for growing crop, right? ठीक है? Another can be triangle. Triangle is basically where we are following this method, forming a triangle, right? You can see here triangles are formed, right? This is another method. Next is hexagonal. In hexagonal, students, again, a very difficult geometry to obtain, but yes, in hexagonal, what happens? In this way, okay, in this way, forming a hexagonal plantation is done, right? Then we have quincus. Quincus geometry is what? Quincus is same as square geometry. In quincus, what we do, we just add a filler. We just add a filler plant in between. Okay, this is filler plant, which is part of quincus geometry. Clear? And what is contour? Contour is nothing, basically when we grow plants on contour lines, okay, having a particular slope. So that is contour. Now students, see, this is a planting system. Planting system means which geometry we are following for growing crop or growing tree, right? Now students, here if we see, the simplest of all is the square geometry. Okay, triangular geometry is there, but it is difficult to lay out. Means first we need to lay out these things on field. Okay, then only it's possible to sow the plant, right? It is difficult to lay out. Then we have hexagonal geometry, again a difficult to lay out, but if we go for this hexagonal geometry, we can accommodate 15% more plant per area, because you can see a different type of geometry is used here. So answer here for this question will be option C. ठीक है, 15% ज्यादा प्लांट और लगा सकते हैं in case of hexagonal geometry. ठीक है. Talking about quincus geometry कहाँ follow होती है basically students? When we are like for say we are maintaining a mango orchard, okay, and I have just sown or I have just planted the mango trees, right? Now these mango will come to fruit after 10 years. So my land is wasted till 10 years, okay? I am not getting any return from the land. What I can do if I have grown these mangoes, you know, the distance between mangoes is kept so far because they are very big trees, right? So what I can do, I can utilize the space between these mango trees till it come to harvesting by growing some filler plants, like some short duration plants, your guava, sapota, such can be grown in between. Papaya is there, that can be grown in between, so that we can get a we can get a return from the land, okay, and also our land is utilized properly. Clear? So that is your quincus geometry. So students, yes, the answer here will be hexagonal. ठीक है? Trees are planted at the corner of equilateral triangles allow more than 15% of more plant than square system. ठीक है? So in hexagonal, 15% more plant are accommodated as compared to the square, okay, as compared to the square geometry. Clear? So I hope this question is clear. Moving to the next question, which of the following is propagated by only by seeds? Okay, now students, there are few crops which are only propagated by seed. What is propagated? Propagated means multiplied. ठीक है? Let me talk about propagation here. ठीक है? Propagation is basically multiplication of plant. Okay, multiplication. Now, how do we multiply a plant? We use seed of that particular plant and then grow that seed, right? Now, that seed will grow into a new plant, produce some amount of seeds, and now that seed can be used for the multiplication. That is how plants multiply. But apart from seeds, we have another method of propagation, which is known as asexual method of propagation or vegetative method of propagation, where we are not using seed, rather we are using any other part of plant, like stem can be used, okay, leaf can be used, or roots can be used, okay, any other part of plant when used for propagation or multiplication process, that is your vegetative propagation, right? If seeds are used, then that is called sexual propagation, okay, that is called sexual propagation. Now there are few crops which are only propagated by seeds, okay, there is no other method of propagation in such crops. So if I see the options, mango, banana, papaya, ginger, sugarcane. So students, right answer here will be papaya. Okay? Papaya and coconut are the plants which can be only propagated by seeds. Okay, we need to sow seeds of these plants. There is no other way we can propagate or we can multiply these plants. Clear? For the rest, for the mango, for the banana, ginger and sugarcane, we can use any other part to make new plant. Okay? So this is the right answer for this particular question. Next question is the technique of inducing roots on a stem while still attached to the plant is. Okay, now students, there are different method of propagation, right? So sometimes what we use bud. What we do, like we have a plant and there is a bud in this plant, we cut this bud and we attach this bud to the required plant stem, and this bud is allowed to grow and this form a new plant, right? That is called budding. Then there is other method of grafting, in which we join two pieces, like you can say we join two pieces of plant and tie them together, that is known grafting. These are two basically stem part only, right? Then we have layering. In layering technique, what we do, we select one branch from the plant, okay, we scrape out some amount of bark from this plant and we cover this from the sphagnum grass and moist it, and we tie it with muslin cloth or some kind of cloth which allow air to pass, right? So what will happen here, still this plant is attached, still this part is attached to this portion, this mother plant, and here the roots are induced. Okay, यहाँ से roots आने लगेगी कुछ time बाद. So this method is known as layering. Okay, and that is what it is asked to you. Technique of inducing root on stem while still attached to the plant. So this is called layering. ठीक है, और cutting क्या है? Cutting is basically any part of plant, any cutting of a plant. Like we have stem. If we use stem for propagation, that is stem cutting. If we use root cutting, that is a root cutting. If we use leaf, that is a leaf cutting. ठीक है. Micro propagation क्या है? Micro propagation is basically, students, where we are using very small part, like one leaf is divided into several sections, and this piece of leaf, very small part of leaf, is used for growing new plant, and that is done totally under lab condition. It is not possible to micro propagate any part in field condition, so we need proper setup, we need proper lab environment for doing the micro propagation. Clear? I hope now this is clear to you all. So in which budding method an incision made in the shape of letter T. ठीक है. Now students, the budding that I discussed with you in the previous slide. So there are different type of buddings, budding propagation. ठीक है. Now I request you all to learn about all these propagation method. I have already covered these propagation method in my previous videos. You can just watch those videos and cover all the propagation method, which include sexual and asexual. Under asexual also you will get grafting, budding, right? Everything there. So here, if T letter incision is made, ठीक है, अगर T letter incision बनाते हैं for inserting bud, basically what happens here, this is a stem, ठीक है, इस stem में हमको कोई bud को insert करना है, तो we will make a insertion like this. ठीक है, what will happen, this part, this bark will open like this. Okay, this bark will open like this, there will be a gap, इसको खोलेंगे, and we will place the bud here and cover the bud and tie it. Okay, so this type of budding is known as T or shield budding. What we have shielded it also, we have provided a shield also, right? So this type of budding is known as T or shield budding. So answer here will be T or shield budding. Patch budding में क्या होता है? So students, we remove a patch from bark and then insert a bud and tie it. ठीक है, this is patch budding. In case of eye budding, insertion is made in the form of eye. Now it will open like a door. ठीक है, it will open like a door. In between you place the bud and close it. Clear? And in case of ring budding, this is a stem. You remove the bark in the form of, like in circular form you remove the bark. Okay? Then there is a forked budding. Forked budding is what, students? This is the forked budding. Okay? You remove the bark from the stem and then place bud here and then close it. A flap like is open. Okay? So these are different methods of budding. And here for this question, right answer will be T and or shield budding. Clear? Chalo, next is micropropagation is also known as. So students, micropropagation that I was discussing earlier, it is also known as tissue culture. ठीक है? क्यों बोलते हैं tissue culture? Because here we are using a very small part of plant, a small tissue, okay? A small tissue to grow plant. This is a leaf. We have cut this leaf into several sections. ठीक है? Now, for say I have picked this section, and what I'll do, I will put this section into a growing media. This growing media usually have agar. Agar is a growing media, and this section is placed here. What will happen? This agar will provide nutrient to this particular part of this particular tissue of a plant, and this will grow into a new plant. This will grow into a new plant. Clear? So this is a micropropagation, hence it is also known as tissue culture, and I have already told you we need a proper setup, we need a proper lab environment for doing this. Clear? Chalo. Next is the process of removing field heat from freshly harvested produce is. Now students, your all topics related to post harvest management are very important. There was a descriptive answer question asked on post harvest management, so I request you all to please learn about post harvest management as well. ठीक है? Objective questions भी पूछे जाते हैं, you will find descriptive also, so just have the understanding of what are the post harvest processes that happens after the harvesting of crop. ठीक है? Now first here question is asked the process of removing field heat. Okay, whenever the crop is harvested, okay, in field temperature is very high, what we need to do, we need to cool it down. We need to cool it down before storing. Okay, if we just reduce temperature drastically, if we just put these heated product or heated commodity, agricultural commodity directly into the freezer, that will create a difference in heating, that will create a difference in temperature. ठीक है, उससे क्या हो सकता है, आपकी जो क्रॉप है वो डैमेज हो सकती है, उसकी सेल्स डैमेज हो सकती है. एंड व्हाट इज आवर ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट, कि हमें जो पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट के बाद प्रोसेस है उसको इस तरीके से करना है कि जो क्रॉप्स है उसकी शेल्फ लाइफ को हम बढ़ा सके, राइट. सो वी डोंट वांट दैट प्रोड्यूस टू स्पॉइल, वी वांट देम टू be fresh as they can be, okay, as it can be. So after bringing the commodity from the field, the first process is called as pre-cooling. ठीक है, पहला स्टेप होता है प्री कूलिंग, विच इज बेसिकली जस्ट रिमूविंग द फील्ड हीट. ठीक है, फील्ड में गर्मी होती है, द like for say you harvested mango, okay, mango will be heated in the field, right, you harvested it. So what you will do, you will pre-cool it, you will put this mango in shade condition, okay, there will be shade, under shade you will put that, so that the temperature can be bring down. ठीक है, temperature can be brought down for that particular commodity. Clear? So next question is, the practice of shaping tree by directing growth is called. Okay, now students, there are two things, not training, okay, there is training, then there is a pruning, and then there is a thinning. ठीक है, now shaping tree by directing the growth, that is your training, means when we are training tree to grow in a particular form. ठीक है, कभी कभी क्या करते हैं, you might have seen few branches of trees are cut so that we get a particular shape of that particular tree, right. So that is training, means we are training tree to grow in a particular shape. Then we have another term which is pruning. Pruning is what, sometimes we do not want some extra branches. ठीक है, some branches can be diseased, some branches can be unwanted, some branches can be extra, so we need to remove extra branches. That is pruning, means you are pruning out the extra things. Then there is a thinning. What is thinning? So students, sometimes in order to increase the quality of produce, ठीक है, we need to thin out flowers. Like for say, if we see peach plant, okay, in peach you will see there are several flowers on one stem. ठीक है, there are multiple flowers on one stem. ठीक है, so what we do, we thin out few flowers, we pluck out few flowers from the branch, so that one branch have a particular amount of flower, and these flowers can get enough food material, so that the produce that will come out is of good quality. ठीक है, जितने ज्यादा फ्लावर्स होंगे उतना ज्यादा जो स्टोर्ड फूड है वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होगा, और आपका जो प्रोडक्ट है, और लाइक फॉर से पीच की क्वालिटी है वो अच्छी नहीं होगी, राइट. इट विल बी स्मॉल, इट विल बी डिफॉर्म्ड, इट विल बी नॉट ऑफ फुल शेप, राइट. सो व्हाट वी हैव टू डू, वी हैव टू थिन आउट. ठीक है, वी हैव टू थिन आउट फ्यू फ्लावर्स. तो कुछ फ्लावर्स को थिन आउट किया जाता है ताकि जो आपका प्रोड्यूस की क्वालिटी है वो अच्छी हो सके. ये चीज टमाटर में भी की जाती है, इट इज डन इन टोमेटो एज वेल. टमाटर में क्या करते हैं, कुछ फ्लावर्स को निकाल देते हैं, सो दैट एक ब्रांच में देर आर ओनली 4-5 फ्लावर्स विच कैन ग्रो वेल, और जो आपका टमाटर है वो अच्छी क्वालिटी का बने. ठीक है, सो दिस इज योर थिनिंग, प्रूनिंग एंड ट्रेनिंग. आई होप नाउ इट्स क्लियर. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज, suckers are used as propagation material in. Now students, हमने आई के बारे में पढ़ा था, राइट. पोटैटो में क्या होता है, आई होता है. ऐसी किसी में राइजोम होता है, किसी में सकर होता है, किसी में रनर होते हैं, राइट. सो यू हैव टू लर्न अबाउट ऑल दीज डिफरेंट व्हाट वी से प्रोपगेटिंग मटेरियल. ठीक है, तो ये क्या होते हैं और ये किस क्रॉप में यूज होते हैं फॉर द प्रोपगेशन पर्पस. You need to learn all these things. ठीक है, now your options are banana, apple, guava, mango, pomegranate. So students, suckers are basically used in bananas. जो banana है उसके trees के नीचे, you might have seen, if you have seen banana tree, so banana tree के नीचे ऐसे कुछ suckers निकल के आते हैं. ठीक है, now what we do, we cut these suckers and we plant them, and this will give rise to new banana plant. ठीक है, so this is your sucker. Clear? So it is used as propagation material in banana. Clear? Now last question for you. Now students, you have to tell me कि stone grafting method किस में practice की जाती है. अब इसमें आपको पहले पढ़ना है what is stone grafting, ठीक है, और कहाँ ये होती है, किस crop में ये होती है. Please learn about this and try to solve this question and give me answers in the comment section. Okay, I'll see who all have answered to this question. So that was all for this particular lecture. before I end, if you want PDF of this lecture, you can just visit our Telegram channel. There we post the PDF of these lectures. Okay? So that's all. I hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Thank you so much.